and welcome to Kapowski Reads. And I'm just doing a very quick intro because I'm patting a cat, but also I am about to go and get my annual haircut. I'm very excited, but I'm very anxious because I don't like getting my hair cut, but my hair is far too long to the point that it's now like getting caught in my armpits, and I'm like, no, I need to get it cut. And I don't know what I'm getting done. I'm either gonna end up just getting a trim, but realistically it's been a year since it's been cut. So I think I need to maybe get like this much taken off, and then I think, well, bless you. Bless you again. Are you okay? Yeah. I think I might go like shoulder length. I don't know. I maybe want something like at the front to like, I don't know, not look like a potato when I tie it up, but I don't know. I'm gonna see what the hair wizard has to say when I go. But yeah, very quick intro because it is 20 to 8 and my appointment is at 9, and I like to be really like not early, like I don't want to be there early, but I want to be like in the vicinity of where I need to be early so that I don't panic. So I'm gonna go and read in a coffee shop for a little bit, get my hair done and then I'm hoping to go to the museum because there's an exhibition I really want to see, and that is closing up on Sunday, and I'm gonna go. Gonna bring you with me, and it's gonna be glorious. It's also supposed to rain today because of course it is. I'm getting my hair done. It's gonna rain. It always happens. So I will be wearing a slightly too warm coat because it has a hood, but that's fine. I'm also really self-conscious today that I think my dress is like the tiniest bit too small. I have new bras, so this used to fit just fine, but now I feel it's a bit like, I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. This is what I'm wearing today. It is a gorgeous dress that has pockets. I don't know if I can really stand far back enough. It's this length. We're gonna go get our hair cut. Oh, yeah, definitely needs done. Done. I got it done, and it of course started raining because why would it not? So even though I had my hood, it still was really windy, and like imagine this like fresh, just a little bouncier. But yeah, I really like it. I got some layers, which I like, and I feel like this is like my perfect length, and I feel like I could go and like adventure with it because I now actually have some like framing bits. I'm a bit like, do I tuck them? No, I'm so used to tucking them. I also went to, I kept saying the museum. It's not a museum. I went to the art gallery. I will add some clips of my trip to the I was gonna say the library, to the art gallery. But before I add them, I just want to say that there were sculptures of spiders. So if you don't want to see them, timestamp in somewhere down here of when the museum, when the art gallery clips are over, so you don't have to see them. Yeah. I went to the art gallery, which is gorgeous, and I don't go there as often as I would like, or as I really should, because it's not too hard to get to, and they always have like new things, which was really nice to see. And I got to see some really cool paintings and some of my favorite paintings. There were some new exhibitions featuring some Aberdeen focused artwork and displays, and that was really fun to see. The featured artist that I wanted to see was Louise Bourgeois, because we were really lucky in that we have on loan from the Tate her sculptures and loads of her artwork, and it was just so really nice to see them. And I don't like spiders, but I really, you know, it was really beautiful sort of seeing her pieces. I really liked it. And then I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go and get myself a nice cool drink because I felt so warm in the gallery, and I just thought, oh, it's for the art, keep the art nice and warm. But then I realised that it was 11 a.m. and all I'd had to drink was 4 black coffees and a double espresso. And that makes sense now as to why I felt almost somewhat drunk, and I don't drink alcohol. And that was why I was highly caffeinated and underhydrated. So I didn't get water because that would have made more sense. I got a rhubarb juice because I like it. And it wasn't till later that I realised, oh, drink some water, you mad woman. And then I was going to go and get lunch afterwards. But the bus was redirections of the bus right now. And the new bus stop is directly outside of the art gallery. And there was a bus due in 2 minutes and I thought I could just go home. So I just came home and had a nice cozy afternoon where I just watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos of people that I enjoy. And I did start a new book when I was getting ready for the hairdresser. I started reading Youth Juice, which I got as an advanced copy from NetGalley, and I'm like 30% into it so far and I'm loving it. I already know that I'm gonna be raving about it. Well, like, I don't know, but I hope I know. So I'm hopeful that I'm going to finish that over the next couple of days and I will be able to talk all about it. If not, I will talk all about it later. But for now, it's dinner time and I'm going to go, and I don't actually know. We have half an idea for dinner. Half an idea. It's going to work. And then I'm going to watch some Gladiators. We are currently watching Gladiators International, which was first broadcast in 1994. So we are very much at the height of entertainment in our house. It's so silly, but I'm loving it. We've been rewatching like all of them. And now we've done season 1 of The Ashes and now we're on season 1 of International. Dinner time. I'll be back in a bit. Hi, we are brunch people. We are people who go to brunch because we have done it twice. Therefore, that's who we are. That was our entire plan for today, pretty much for the whole weekend, is going. If you go out once at the weekend, you've done a thing, and then you can just spend the rest of the weekend rotting at home, as it should be. I really wanted to go and try one of the places down near the harbour, because the whole of our like Ship Row area, which is like near the harbour, has just, I think recently, might not be that recently, but there's a lot of like new places to eat down there and I wanted to go try it out. So we went off for brunch. I got a delicious meal, which was like avocado on some sourdough with poached eggs, and it was just absolutely perfect. And also, turns out one of my old teammates is a chef there, so that was delightful. She made some excellent eggs and I had a mocktail because why not? We also took a little look at some of the art. The new art, which is like a street art festival, actually starts today, but it starts later on today. So it was nice getting to see like a little sneak preview of some of the artwork that's going to be available to see. I might go and see if I can do a tour at some point, but that would involve leaving the house. But I did get to see some of it and it was really cool. We also saw the umbrellas. There are umbrellas like in the sky, which is part of something called the Umbrella Project, which raises awareness for ADHD and autism, and it's like around the globe, but it's just really cool that Aberdeen has something really fun, like really gorgeous, like it's a beautiful installation. And yes, I did basically dress up as an Easter basket today. I have decided that because my hair's shorter, I need to wear pearls with it because it just feels like the length where you wear pearls. There's no logic behind this and that doesn't make sense, but that's what I'm going with. Feels pearl length. Take from that what you will. Now that we are home, we were going to stay a little bit later because there's a really cool cinnamon bun place, but there was like an hour until it was opening and we'd finished everything we needed to do in town, and it just kind of felt like neither of us wanted to just sit or like walk around. It was so sunny. Just waiting an hour for a cinnamon bun, it didn't feel like the best use of our time, so no cinnamon buns today. But now that we are home, my plan is to just sit and read. I really want to just finish Youth Juice because I'm loving it. I've made such good progress in it. I'm about halfway through so far. I'll give a full review when I finish it, but synopsis, I'll let you know what it's about. It follows the story of a woman called Sophia. She is 30. She has just gotten her first like really well paid, almost like grown-up job, and she has been hired to work for a startup called Hebe, which is a luxury skincare and wellness brand in a very, very stylish part of New York, and it just sounds so cool. It also, when I started reading this, was like, it is giving me glossy vibes. And as you may know, I am obsessed with Emily Weiss and like super intern success story. Like, maybe not obsessed, but just I like the fact that this person appeared as an intern in The Hills and now like was part of a massive business. It intrigues me. So our new employee learns that there is a secret ingredient to the magical elixir, aka moisturizer, which is called Youth Juice. And she probably should be shocked, appalled, disgusted, but instead she's kind of like, cool, it really helps my hands, because she's had really bad like skin picking and it just really affected her. So it's basically healed all of the damage and scars on her hands. And then the chaos and sinister happenings begin. And I just am getting such a good vibe from this book. I think, like, I always complain that when a book promises that it's going to be unhinged, it's never unhinged enough. I want more, or I want less hinges. Unhinge that for me. And I think that this is, I'm feeling hopeful that this is really going to just be chaotic. That's what I want, and that's what I hope I'm gonna get. So I'm gonna go and read that, and then I will come back and let you know how I got on with it. See you soon. It's Monday. I didn't film yesterday, but all I did was laundry and reading. Sunday is now like my favorite day to do laundry because I am cool and cool people do laundry on a Sunday. Today was my day in the office, as evidenced by me wearing my Monday day in the office dress. I am still not sure. I don't know how I feel about my hair. So it doesn't help the fact that it's really cold and windy and I got caught in the rain again today. I will never learn. So it's doing this thing, like it's just doing this thing where it ends where my hair wants to flick out. So I just need to learn how to do it, like how to style it. After that first wash, when you do your own hair, I just think that that's the sort of moment where you go, I don't like it. I don't like it. Nothing I can do about it. It'll take an age to grow, as it usually does. So I just have to make the best of what I have. As I'm going to wrap up the vlog with today as my last day, I am going to talk about the books that I have finished over the course of this vlog, which is 5 books. I did not start 5 books during these last few days. No, but I did finish them and I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to start with my rereads because I have them right next to me as physical books. So I reread Just Eat It, which is a book about intuitive eating by a Scottish doctor called Laura Thomas. I used to listen to her podcast, which I think was called Don't Salt My Game, which was fun. Like, it was a really informative podcast. I just fell behind, and I don't like to fall behind on podcasts, and there were far too many for me to catch up with, so I haven't gone back to it. This is just a nice book for returning to every... It's a really nice book to wiggle, but it's a good book to return to for me every so often. Nice to have a reread. And I do sometimes think I'm going to tab it all, but I clearly have not. Forget. I also reread The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. This is the book I read for Kayla's buzzword with repeating words with the. And I know I'm not going to go on about the religious allegory in this book because more learned people than I have already gone down that road. I went into this reread just viewing it purely as a book for children. Not getting too deep into it, just book for kids. And it was fine, but I feel like this is perhaps a book that can live in my nostalgic memory bank. Oh, it just kind of disappointed a bit, but the films are quite sweet. Although I still hate Peter. Like, he's just, nah, I'm so great. No, most boring characters in the world are the ones that are just so great. No, give me tortured. Give me flawed. That's my rant about this book. I finished a couple more non-fiction books. I finished Word Slut, Feminist Guide to Taking Back the English Language. That is a mouthful and a half. By Amanda Mantell. This book was good, but it was very wordy, which is a ridiculous thing to say about a book that is about the English language, but it just felt like it didn't feel so succinct. It just felt a little bit too, I don't know. There was something about it that just felt almost clinical in the way that the book was written. It didn't really, the writing style really wasn't for me. I listened to the audiobook and I think I would have enjoyed the physical book less. It was really interesting, but it also, I didn't find that it held my attention too much. I kept sort of almost kind of losing interest a little bit in it. I feel like it was fine. It was fine. The next book was Keanu Reeves is Not in Love with You, which is a book by Becky Holmes, and it looks into romance fraud and like scammers who kind of trick people out of their life savings. And this book was, I believe this book maybe started as like a Twitter thread, and I'm not on, it's not even called Twitter anymore. I'm not on new Twitter. I used to be, but I was just so angry, and I just thought, I don't want to be in an angry place. Nope. So I live on Instagram instead. And this book, I really liked the author's sort of, it was written in a very conversational style, very chatty, very silly. The author, I think, is a silly little goose, and I love that. It was very fun and like a very sort of light-hearted way of talking about something that I don't know a huge deal about, romance fraud and people who are sort of tricked into thinking that they are dating a celebrity or a person using somebody else's photos. I thought it was really interesting. I feel like the second, not even the second half, the last third to quarter of the book is where it kind of lost me a bit. I promise this won't all be negative, because it kind of almost got, it tried to get like really serious, which in a book that's being sort of very hardy har chuckle fest. It felt a very bold change of tone. I really wanted to know a bit more about what made women, because this book only did surround women, it wasn't long enough to surround, did address that it wasn't long enough to surround everybody. So it just focused on women who had been victim to these scams. And I kind of wanted to know a little bit more into what made somebody believe what were often just bizarre and completely unbelievable stories. There were testimonials from real people. And there was one woman who was talking about like a treasure chest of money and of traveling across the world, carrying money to go in a car with these strangers because this man she'd met on the internet needed her help. And I just think, at what point do you sort of go, this doesn't sound like the way you buy yourself off an oil rig? I don't know, I just kind of thought like I wanted a little bit more of what made people so vulnerable, because obviously there's loneliness and things like that, but like what makes some, you know, what made these people just completely throw any caution or like sense of reality out the window? I kind of wanted to know. I wanted a bit more of that, and maybe a little bit less of the light-hearted bits, or none of the real, less of the real bits and more of the funny bits. I think it kind of tried to juggle two very different things, but it was fun. The first like 7 chapters were really, really fun, and I did find myself sort of chuckling away at the delivery of the book, not of the people that had been hurt, because that's never fun to read, but it was at least really, really interesting. And the last book I finished was Youth Juice by E.K. Sathu. I am unsure of how to pronounce this surname. What I'm not unsure about is how much I love this book. It is going very swiftly onto my list of favourite books for 2024. I loved it. Imagine, if you will, The Devil Wears Prada set amongst a skincare wellness brand instead of a fashion magazine. Mix that with Death Becomes Her, one of the greatest films of all time, and you basically have this book. It was, when I say that I want chaos in a book, this is what I mean. I want this kind of book. I know that I have friends who will hate this book. I'm not one of those people. Amanda, if you're watching this, I don't think you'll like this book, but that's okay, because I loved it enough for both of us. I loved the absolute just madness of this book, and yet it was batty, but it wasn't like, well, it couldn't, you know, it couldn't not happen. I loved it. The main character, Sophia, was not necessarily likable, but not like unlikable. As a character, you must be either interesting or likable, or both, I think. And Sophia, our main character, was interesting. I don't think she was overly likable, but she wasn't supposed to be. And I really loved the swift descent just down the rabbit hole that Sophia had, and the way that she joined Hebe and just suddenly was like on board with all of these things. She got let in to see behind the curtain, and instead of going, excuse me, what, was just like, yep, I'll go with it. And it was just, that's how you knew she had turned and she had become one of them, if you will. And I really liked her relationship with her flatmate, and that escalated pretty quickly, and I just loved the way that she kind of lost herself, and I would argue lost her mind, and then you could say she found herself afterwards. I love this. It was just so weird. And I kind of would maybe liken it a smidge to Rouge by Mona Awad, but only in the sort of beauty industry wellness cult way. But I had the best time with this book, and I just didn't want to put it down. I was so excited reading it. I didn't know what was going to happen next, because how on earth could you try and predict what was going to happen next? I didn't see it coming. I thought it was so clever and so fun and just bizarre and not like anything I've ever read before. And that's just, as a reader, so just fantastic to find. I have lost all of the light. To just find a new twist on a story, to find a new like tale. It was just so refreshing, and I had just the best time with it. I want to get a physical copy of it because I want to read it again. I am gonna take the sunlight disappearing as a subtle hint for me to wrap this up, and let me know what you've been reading recently, and if you've been enjoying it, if you've read any of the books I wittered on about. And thank you so much for watching.